nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut. Today we'll go bird watching, tomorrow we'll catch toads. The next day we'll take photographs of bugs along the road. I never get the feeling that I'm in a rut. That's why I'm a nature nut. Well, I'm a nature nut, I'm not afraid to admit. I'm wild about the wild things and I'm proud of it. I'm just a simple case, open and shut. No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.
Hello, bonjour. It is Rat here in the philosophy book. A skink, therefore I am. And with the very act of skinking, the skink does justify its own existence. Oh boy. Well, I may have mastered the intricacies of philosophical thought, but I have not yet mastered the French accent. My apologies. But we are going to look at skinks today. Not skinks in a state of nature, as Hobbes would have it, but rather skinks under the influence of mankind. And what is a skink? Well, stick around. I'll tell you, I promise.
Well, the good thing about skinks is that most skinks look very skink-ish. They have the same look in their eye, all 1,300 species of them, although some of them are a lot slimmer than others and some of them are quite heavy-bodied. A really slim one might be, say, the metallic skink, the one that's introduced in Hawaii, very common there. The five-lined skink and all the rest of the blue-tailed skinks, they're quite slim, sleek-looking skinks. This black-throated skink is kind of a middle-of-the-road skink. And then you get into the heavier skinks, like the Schneider skink. It's like a big version of this one, with different colors, of course. They all have different colors and different details in terms of their scale patterns and their anatomy and so on. Things that make them different species. And then you get into the really heavy skinks, like the blue-tongued skink, and species of that sort. There are a few really weird ones in the family. I think the Solomon Islands prehensile-tailed skink is about the strangest of all the skinks, at least the strangest ones that I've seen. And then there are, there's things like the water skink, and I don't even saw this thing at the pet store the other day. I don't even know if it's a skink for sure. Sometimes they make mistakes in the names of things at pet stores, and that's a strange-looking skink because some of the scales are kind of ridgy. Not that that's unheard of in the skink family, but I don't know. I have to confess my ignorance. I don't know what to say about a water skink. I want to go water skink, but I want a fast boat.
I'm gonna talk to you about the blues now. Yeah, we always like to laugh at the blues. And some folks, they figure that only people get the blues. No, couldn't be any further from the truth. Critters get the blues too, you know, especially skinks. I seen skinks so much into the blues that their whole tail goes blue. Oh yeah. But they got it all wrong. Because some other critter comes along and it bites on that tail and the tail comes off and the skink thinks to itself and thinks, I got rid of my blues. My blues are all gone. They went away in the mouth of that varmint. But you know, and I know too that the blues is the truth. And the blues is always gonna come back, and sure enough, those skinks, they get their tails back, and they're blue again. They got another blue tail. Oh, baby. No, I gotta tell you a story. There's one kind of skink that's got the blues, it's got the good blues wrapped up. You know what I mean? It's the blue-tongued skink. The blue-tongued skink has got such a blue tongue that it lives the blues. It is the blues. Can't help the blues. It knows the blues. And it reads the blues. And they got tongues that are so blue, and you can't get rid of them. Once you got a blue tongue, you got a blue tongue. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? And you know what the blues is like. The blues has got to flow from you. It's got to flow from your fingers and from your tongue. You feel that? You feel my blues? Oh, yeah. But my tongue ain't blue. And that's why I'm so jealous of those blue tongue skinks. Because they got the true blues. And the blues is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Well, I'm a blue tongue skink. I got the blues on my tongue. I'm a blue tongue skink. Got the blues on my tongue. I got the blues in the morning and till the day is done. Thank you very much.
When threatened, the blue-tongued skink opens its mouth and startles its enemies by sticking out its blue tongue. Okay, well, you know where to go if you want to find out more information about skinks, right? Are you thinking the web? It's not my first choice. The web it's a lot of fun, but it's no substitute for a good library. And I'm not just saying that because I'm old-fashioned. I'm saying it's because it's true. You'll find a lot more information in a good library. Now, there isn't that much on the web about skinks so far, but there are some fun things. I like this web page. It was put together in a life science classroom in a school in Warrensburg, Missouri. The teacher's name is Trish Smith, and the student's name is Jamie. Here's Jamie's blue-tongued skink webpage. It's got a nice picture of Taliqua skinkoides, the scientific name of the blue-tongued skink, some information about this sort of skink, and it finishes up with the profound observation, blue-tongued skinks live alone. I figure if you live alone, you get more food. That's very true, Jamie. Excellent. And that's the kind of beautiful wisdom that you rarely find in the library and you find all the time on the web.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for being with us here today. I've had a look at your file. Frankly, I've seen this scenario play itself out all too many times. I'm glad you waited for a professional, didn't try to do anything crazy on your own. Frankly, the solution to your problem is fairly simple. What you want to do is set up a skink tank.
Doesn't he mean a think tank?
The man's a professional. It's a skink tank.
Okay, well, as part of my standard consulting fee, I've agreed to provide the tank itself. There it is. It's a high-quality piece of equipment that's going to give you years of good service. The substrate subcommittee, have you got silica or calcium sand?
Silica sand.
Very good, sir. Could you place that into the skink tank, please, at this point in time? Excellent. Substrate's important. Very important. You don't want to underestimate the importance of substrate. I'll just even that out a bit. Now, the Water and Interior Design Committee, I believe you've got the items handy. Could you please place them in a fashion that would be acceptable to the skink itself? Excellent. Take your time. Take your time. Don't rush anything. Ah, yes. Placing it on top of the rock. I haven't seen that before, but I think it's going to work. I think it's really going to work for us. Very good, very good. Well, the next component, the skink itself. I brought in this skink at great expense. It's the best skink I could find. It's the right skink for the job. Now, of course, a skink is a kind of a lizard, and I'm going to place the skink in the skink tank at this point in time. There we go. One skink ready for action. Okay, once you've got your skink in your skink tank, you should be thinking security. Have you got the security equipment with us? Thank you very much. Good job. I'm glad you got the right kind of stuff here. There we go. Security. The skink is all ready, enjoying its new home. How about lighting? The incandescent lighting committee was able to acquire the right fixture. Very good. Very good. Thank you. I'll place that right here. And when you plug it in, you're going to notice that you get not only light, but heat as well. Beautiful. And the fluorescent lighting committee? After all, every skink needs its vitamin D. A little bit of UV. That's gonna be beautiful. Not just any bulb will do. There we go, a fluorescent fixture. Fluorescent light bulb, optimized for use with reptiles. UV radiation provides vitamin D synthesis. Okay, well that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that. And according to everything we know about modern management theory, this is gonna solve your problems. So lean in, have a close look, and when the insights start to flow, I want you to communicate them immediately to the rest of the group. There, do you see that?
Now, what about the word skink itself? A very confusing word which has caused no end of doubt and consternation on the part of many naturalists. Why, even the great Henry David Thoreau was once out walking with Walt Whitman, and they saw one. And Thoreau is rumored to have said, "Say, Walt, what is that?" And Whitman said, "Well, Henry, it's a skink." And Thoreau said, "Oh, a skink. Well, isn't that an unpleasant word? What does it mean?" And Whitman, being a master of languages, of course, was able to say it's derived from a Greek word, skinkos, meaning simply lizard. That's all there is to the story. It's not mysterious at all. It doesn't have any reference to the smell of a skink, and it certainly is not the plural of the word skunk. That, of course, is skunkai. The plural of the word skink is skinkai. And if you believe that, perhaps you'd believe the rest of the story. Yes. Oh, what do you think when a skink takes a drink? And only a wink, being sure not to blink. Oh, a skink in the bank is no rink-a-dink thing. It's your link to the clink if you call it a mink. Skinks, 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 rink-a-dink-a-doo skinks. Skinks, skinks, most people think you'll be faced with a jinx if you blink. But a kink and a gink can write it in ink. Slink into the rink, it's a color as ink. That old Sphinx didn't blink when he spotted the lynx. Ring deep to the minks were protected by rings. Skinks, 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 rink-a-dink-a-doo skinks. Oh, a skink in the pink is no ink-a-dink thing. It's your link to the clink if you call it a mink. My sister thinks that skinks are fakes. If you don't want to wind up in the drink, don't blink first when you're looking at a skink. Skinks, 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 rink-a-dink-a-doo skinks. Skinks, skinks, most people think you'll be faced with a jinx if you blink. Faced with a jinx if you blink. Faced with a jinx if you blink.
Let me tell you, it's not easy making a show about skinks in Edmonton, Alberta in the middle of the winter. And it turns out the biggest concentration of skinks in this part of the world is right in here. This is Aaron Chappell's bedroom. He's a friend of mine. He's 15 years old, and he's a reptile nut. You think I'm a nut? He's a nut. This is great. Look at this. This is wonderful. There's Phil the chameleon's tank. That's beautiful. Over here, there's a skink looking out of his nice fuzzy little doghouse. Another couple of skink enclosures. A couple of more lizard tanks. And here's Aaron himself with a skink on his shoulder. So thanks for letting us invade your room, Aaron.
Oh, I appreciate you coming.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's our pleasure. That's a gorgeous skink. No, that's one of the 2 species of skinks that you've got?
It is, yeah. This is the one from Australia. It's a female. And I've also got another 2, a male and female from Indonesia.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're all blue tongues, just different subspecies.
Right. That's a big, heavy, gorgeous lizard.
Yeah.
How did you get interested in this species?
Actually, I got my first one from the classified ads here in Edmonton.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you can buy lizards through the classified ads
You can,
now?
yeah.
I haven't tried. That's great.
Yeah.
And your plan is to breed these?
Oh, I've tried, but they don't get along, so I'm still looking for mates for both of them. So. Yeah.
Well, they're not cheap lizards. If you get babies, you could be a very rich man, couldn't you?
Yeah. That one will go for $250 to $300 Canadian.
No kidding.
Yeah, the other ones are a bit cheaper, $150, $200 in there. So yeah.
Well, gorgeous lizards.
Thank you.
Do you? I mean, it's easy to handle.
They are.
Do you spend a lot of time with your?
Yeah, they're way more personable than something like a leopard gecko would be. They recognize you. And they're just a lot more fun than a leopard gecko or something.
No kidding. So she'll recognize your voice and perk up and all that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Woo! I can feel that blue tongue on the back of my neck. Whoa! That's wild. What about the Schneider skinks? How did you get interested in that species?
Actually, we were down at a Seattle reptile show, and it was the last day, and everyone was just trying to clear everything out. So they were on sale, and I couldn't resist. And I've really been quite happy with them. They're also quite personable, though not as much as the blue tongues are.
Yeah, no, they're gorgeous. And even if they are bargain reptiles, that's, who cares? They're all beautiful. Oh, that's good. How many animals do you have total here, Aaron?
I just counted, and I've got 43.
43 reptiles.
Yeah.
And I counted 20 different cages and aquariums.
Yeah.
You know, you're living the perfect life. You've got the perfect parents. This
I do, yeah.
When this goes on the air, teenagers all around the world are going to be jealous of you. Man, even I'm jealous. He's got more reptiles than me. I mean, my folks were good. They had one rule, no alligators. And I guess your folks don't like the snakes, right?
Yeah, nothing venomous either.
Yeah, it's a good rule. Strong rule.
Skinks generally have tight skin, hard, shiny scales, and relatively short limbs for a lizard. Okay, well now it's time to have a visit with the world's largest skink, the Solomon Islands prehensile-tailed skink from the Solomon Islands near New Guinea. And I'm also going to visit with Wade Krasno, who is a reptile keeper here at the Valley Zoo in Edmonton. So thanks for bringing out the skink, Wade.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, what's this one's name?
Well, we call him Groucho because he has a bit of a mean streak in him.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you wouldn't expect that necessarily because they're vegetable and fruit-eating critters.
Yeah, they are. They're vegetarians, but they still have this mean streak in them. So
Is that right?
You have to watch them.
But he's looking pretty comfy, curled around your neck there right
Oh,
now.
well,
That's nice.
He loves me. What can I say?
And he's such a neat-looking critter with that very short face and the long prehensile tail. It looks kind of like a little squirrel or a monkey or something.
Well, yeah, they can use their tail like a monkey's because it is prehensile. They use it when they climb.
With the very sharp claws, you're probably feeling that right now.
Yeah, he was trying to climb up my head. They're very sharp. You can see I have the glove just in case he decides to bite, because they're one of the nastiest bites that you can get from a reptile.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly. I mean, look at the big jowls on him. There's got to be a big block of muscle in that big bulge on the side of the head.
Oh, I
there.
think so. I've been bit by him. It's one of the worst bites you can get from a reptile. I mean, other than snakes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, look, he's smacking his lips there. What a.
Well, he was fed yesterday, so hopefully he doesn't think my ear's a fleshy peach or something.
Oh, I get such a kick out of him. He is really neat. They are quite popular as pets, and apparently they breed fairly well in captivity, but I imagine they need quite a bit of special care, don't they?
Yeah, you'd need a fairly large cage because he's quite big, you can see.
Yeah.
They need a lot of space, especially for climbing. So if you're going to have an enclosure for them, a cage, it should be tall and have branches in for them to climb. They also like to hide, so you have to put a hide in there for them. And you need special lighting because any reptile that doesn't have the special lighting, they get sick and from the bones and all that.
Right, yeah, vitamin D and
Vitamin
all that
D,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah. What about water? Do you have to mist them every day, or?
Yeah, these guys like it damp, because they need the humidity to help their digestive system, and they will go in the water to have a poop, so you'll have to be changing the water every day as well.
Yeah, right. So it's not the kind of lizard you can buy and put in your old fish tank. You gotta think really carefully before you get into something like that.
Yeah, and with any reptile, you should do that. Think carefully.
Oh, yeah. I brought an interesting quote, which I think you'll enjoy, from Philippe de Vagioli, the famous writer of reptile books. He said, "They're like creatures out of a fantasy or science fiction book, small aliens, gnome-like creatures who live in their own special reality."
Yeah, he's got his own special reality, that's for sure.
Well, I guess we should probably put him back in his special reality, but thanks for bringing him on.
No problem.
It's a thrill to meet the world's biggest skink. Pardon me, I'm in a bit of a Bavarian mood right now because I'm thinking about the legend of the Mutzelwurm, or the Tatzelwurm, the Stollenwurm, the Pratzelwurm, all those things. You know what I'm talking about. Here's an illustration of the Mutzelwurm published in a Bavarian hunting manual in 1836. Now, you know where I'm going with this. I mean, let's have another look. There it is. Tight skin, hard shiny scales, and short limbs. The skink family is worldwide. It's therefore had an influence on human culture throughout the length and breadth of our planet. Perhaps the legendary Mutzelwurm is indeed a skink. People who believe that the Mutzelwurm exists and is a hitherto undiscovered species of creature will say, no, it's not a skink because it's poisonous and it leaps. Couldn't possibly be a skink. After all, it kills goat herders. You know, they go into the cave in the middle of the day to eat their cheese, and the Mutzelwurm is waiting in there for them, jumps on them, bites them, kills them. And that's that. I mean, that's just what happens to you. Eat your cheese in the open. That's my advice to you if you happen to be a goat herder in the Alps, or if you're thinking of becoming one in the future. Those who believe that the Mutzelwurm exists do not want to admit that it might be a skink, even though there is a 2-foot-long species of skink that lives in the Alps. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, let me tell you a little more about this legend. In the 1930s, a Swiss photographer took this picture. He was apparently walking along, saw a particularly attractive log lying on the ground, photographed it, and suddenly realized that it was, in fact, the legendary Mutzelwurm, and it tried to kill him. Well, my cousin and I, when we were young men, teenagers, we were so inspired by that photograph that we created our own Mutzelwurm, which I'm sure you'll agree does have a certain skinkiness to it. Took a picture of it, looked exactly like that picture. Very proud of that. We even worked it into one of our old home movies, Regular 8 movies. I'd like to show you a little clip just for fun. After all, it's part of how I got where I am today.
Absolument a skink, therefore I am. And if the skink is alone in the forest, does it make a sound? In the East we ask, what is the sound of one skink? And if you bring a skink into your dwelling, it go to the place where you make the food. Does it become the kitchen skink? These are all the questions we have no answer for. And I love to ask the question. That is why I am the nature nut, and I hope you are too. Au revoir. Pardon.
I hate it when this happens.
The male and the female, they don't get along.
We'll just ignore that for the moment.
This is why I get the big bucks, folks. You got him?
The man's a professional. It's a skink tank.
I'm looking for another.
No doubt about it, I'm a nature nut.
Okay, now we gotta cut for sure.